Welcome to Craig's Gun Channel. In today's video, we're going to go over the Sanyo NL421 flashlight. For many of you who probably aren't familiar with this flashlight, this was the light back in the late 60s, early 70s for aviators, basically military, Air Force personnel, a lot of astronomers, basically anyone who needed to operate in the dark and have a good source of task lighting. This was the light to have, and it was made by Sanyo, and it was in their Cadnica line, which basically meant rechargeable batteries. And I've always found these things just fascinating. My father had one when I was very young, and I always liked to play with it. I just thought it was the neatest thing ever. I've always been fascinated by basically mechanical things or things that make light. So flashlights have always been just a fascination of mine, and this was one of the first flashlights that I just fell in love with, and it was when I was a child. Over the years, time had came and went, and the light was no more. I happened to run across this one, and on eBay. Of course, it didn't work. It was just the light, so I took it apart and was able to basically put new batteries in it and give it new life. Not to actually use. This is more just for nostalgia as anything else. But I've always been fascinated by this, so thought I'd go ahead and do a quick video on it just so you can kind of take a look at it. So let's take a closer look. So the Sanyo Cadnica, this particular one is the model, see if you can see it there, probably not. It's white on white here, but it's the NL421, and like I said, this was a series of flashlights that they had came out with. There again, late 60s, early 70s. It has dual red and clear lenses, and has a three-way switch. So forward, it's a little yellow dot, but forward would be the white light, back would be the red light, little red dot. In the center would be off, and that's also where you'd want to put it when you're recharging. It's got the charge position here is off at center. And the way it would recharge is the little cap here, that would come off, and you could reverse it just like that, and you just basically just plug it into an outlet, and it would recharge the internal battery. So as far as just some technical details, it uses a 2.2 volt or 0.25 amp lensed bulbs. So the little bulbs there, these are the bulbs that basically the front of the bulb is kind of a lens shape to help focus some of the light. It has an internal 2/3 AA 300 milliamp nickel cadmium rechargeable battery. Runtime of about 70 minutes once it's fully charged, and of course it can be recharged hundreds of times. Measures about 4.5 by 1.75 by about 3/4 or 0.75 inches. Internally, it's a very simple charging circuit composed of a few diodes to rectify the AC to DC current, some resistors, and a small step-down transformer to drop the 110 volt coming in to something around that the batteries can use. There again, it's about 2.4 volts is what the battery pack is. It uses two of those 2/3 AA cells, and their NiCad or nickel cadmium technology was real big in the 60s, 70s. Anything rechargeable, that's pretty much what it used. There's no smart circuitry, so basically you plug it in, it delivers power to the batteries until you unplug it. So there's no circuit protection. So basically, if you leave it plugged in for too long, it will overcharge the batteries, which causes damage to the battery. Now the step-down transformer and the resistors and stuff in there drop the current down to where it wouldn't cause a catastrophic overcharge condition where it would cause it to catch on fire, although that is still a risk, especially if you have one of these that's older, mostly because all the connections and wires and circuitry in it are now corroded, so it could cause a heat buildup where it wasn't intended to. So the biggest problem you'd run into is it would overcharge the batteries, and then they just wouldn't hold a charge. When you find these today, the batteries are almost invariably not salvageable. It is possible to, like I said, repair these. Not a huge reason to really at this point. There's a lot better options out there. But there again, just the nostalgia factor, I just find them fascinating. So basically, as far as the switch operation, you just go forward, and that would make the white light come on, and go back, and that would make the red light come on. Now, it's still a white bulb, but it's got a red lens. Of course, as a kid, I did the whole siren thing, which is, of course, very harmful and not good for durability on the switch there. But I just found them fascinating. There's a little rubber plug on the back, which, as a kid, I never understood what this was for. I always would look in there. There's nothing in there. I just thought, well, that's weird. Well, what this is for would be, it's a little rubber cap, and you'd put it over the bulb and push down, and then you could take the bulb out. That's how you replace the bulbs. So basically, that's what that is for. Never knew that as a kid, but no instructions on this. When you're a youngster. There again, as far as the plug itself, just set that up. I just thought this was the neatest thing. And like I said, a couple different permutations of this light over the years. Generally, they were white. However, they did come in black as well. Some of them open up via a screw. This one, there's a little screw there that had a little white cover over it. I had to pry out to be able to open it up. Then there's still a little bit of glue and stuff that hold them together. They're not built to have the batteries be taken out. So it's not like you can just open it up and put new batteries in. There's soldering involved. Might have to replace some wire. Might have to replace, some circuits, resistors, things like that. So, not something that's necessarily easy to do. It's not terribly difficult either. It's just, it wasn't intended for that to ever be the case. Light output, very anemic. That little 2.2 volt half amp bulb didn't put out a lot of light. I mean, you can see here, there's just not much light there. And their intent was to be task lighting. So quite honestly, like reading a map in the dark. Astronomers would use them because they had the red lens in there. Red light doesn't destroy your night vision quite as much. So the red lens in there would help to protect your night vision. That's why it was popular among pilots. Also, it was very handy, easy to pocket, and so you always had your ready light there. On some, the wall plug is removed and flipped around for charging, like this one. But there were some models that had like a little slide that would open up, and then the outlet would pop out. Different plug styles, for different parts of the world. Some of the dimensions are slightly different. Some with different plug styles are a little bit longer to accommodate the different plug in connection. The retail package-wise, sometimes they were in cardboard boxes, sometimes plastic clamshell. So, a variety of things here. Some different model numbers as well. There's the NL221, the NL5100, the NLK1D or K, and then this one is the NL421. I did find a Sanyo catalog from 1970 which lists the NL421 at a cost of 1,450 yen. The exchange rate was a little over 300 yen per dollar then, so it would have been around $5 in US dollars. And if you adjust that for inflation and for 2024 value, that would work out to be, in today's dollars, about $40. It's just, I just think these are neat. It just represents an age of technology that we're just past now. But this was, when I was a kid, this was cool. Now there's like I said, there's much better lights. I mean, there's things like this, the Streamlight Sidewinder. I use this thing all the time. The Warsun EDC, I actually just did a video about this one. But I just wanted to show you this. This kind of started my fascination with flashlights, and wanted to share with you since I found this one. So hope you were interested in it. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more like this. We always value your comments and feedback, so please let us know what you think. So I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up there. Until next time, stay safe.